Dun, dun, dun. Okay. BigHORSE is a tongue-in-cheek collaborative musical effort from two of the biggest names in the music subsection of the Brony community, Mike the Microphone and DB Pony. From what I've been able to gather, the song was conceptualized as a witty response to the long-standing penchant to drama in the Brony music community and, as a result, the Brony community as a whole. The piece is simultaneously an exercise in absurd hyperbole as well as slapdash execution, standing as a stark contrast to the current landscape of complex and at times overly complex pieces coming from both established Brony musicians looking to expand their already large audience, as well as a sea of newcomers looking to make a name for themselves in a now heavily saturated space within the fandom. BigHORSE tries to harken back to a simpler time, the golden age of the community during the time of seasons 1 and 2, where Brony fame was an oxymoronic concept and the admittedly smaller community was more tightly knit and less prone to drama. By creating a piece that in no way takes itself seriously and is stupid fun, Mike and DB attempt to communicate that message to everyone who might happen to listen to the tune. However, despite its seemingly shallow presence, considering the substance of BigHORSE reveals a most peculiar hidden message. In a way, the song is almost a narrative about the Brony community itself. Consider the lyrical structure. The initial neigh at the start of the song could easily be considered the beginning of MLP's initial airing during season 1, and the subsequent constant repetition of horse can easily be perceived as a representation of the mindset of the Brony fandom in general, a comment on the community's singular focus on ponies and ponies alone. Horse is repeated for over 40 seconds, which, while initially entertaining, quickly begins to become repetitive and grating, much like how the community's singular and unflinching high standards for My Little Pony were initially what brought them together, but as of late have been doing more harm than good. The first lyrical variation in the song is "Where is the Horse?", clearly representing the season 3 to 4 hiatus, where just like the disruption of the song's lyrics, the vast amount of time between seasons caused a massive change in the underpinnings of the Brony community itself. With no show for so long to keep itself sustained, the Brony fandom instead looked inward, keeping its momentum going via the plethora of fanworks that were constantly being created. However, for the first time in its 3-year history, fanwork wasn't complementing the expansion of the Brony community, but was literally the only thing perpetuating its growth at all. Thusly, the content creators in the fandom, most notably the musicians, found themselves in a position of far more influence than ever before, as their work was what was sustaining the interest of the fandom at large. As a result of this, many creators garnered larger fan bases within the community than ever before, and all of a sudden, Brony fame was a sign of a rather significant following. Of course, with this shift in the measurement of success, the mindset of and interactions between Brony content creators, both established and newcomers alike, were subtly altered. This is reflected in the song's next lines: "That's a big horse, that's a small horse, I like that horse." While it's easy to interpret these lyrics literally, considering DB Pony's album art portrays his and Mike's OCs as large and small respectively, if one thinks about this line with the context that we've been applying thus far, it becomes clear that this is a representation of the community and even the content creators themselves placing a newly found high value on popularity, with big and small not referring to physical size, but the size of the content creator's audience, and "I like that horse" representative of such status making or breaking friendships within the Brony creator circles, as well as how the community at large uses subscriber count as a measuring stick for quality in light of a now far vaster quantity of creators vying for their attention. These lyrics are then repeated multiple times before the initial horse repetition returns, solidifying this pursuit of fame to be the new standard for the Brony community going forward, and the harsh synthesizer introduced in the last 20 seconds almost reads to me as a comment on the madness that this pursuit truly is, when considered objectively, with a final neigh closing out the song the same as it began, to remind listeners that at the end of the day, My Little Pony is just a TV show and should be treated as such. Overall, BigHORSE is a deceptively simple composition that houses an incredibly deep and resonant comment on the current state of the Brony community. To those who can understand its subtle delivery of message, it plucks at the heartstrings, reminds us of simpler times, but doesn't leave us without hope that the source of the problem is only ourselves, and our mindset need only change. BigHORSE is a fantastic piece of art and easily in the running for the best Brony song of 2014.